do it. Just do it. Don't let your dreams be dreams. Yesterday, you said tomorrow. So just do it. Make your dreams come true. Just do it. Some people dream success. Well, you're going to wake up and work hard at it. Nothing is impossible. You should get to the point where anyone else would quit. And you're not going to stop there. No, what are you waiting for? Do it. Just do it. Yes, you can. Just do it. If you're tired of starting over, stop giving up. Aw, yeah, thanks, Shia. We're now in the stream mindset. We're ready to go. Hello, everybody. It's been a while. I enjoyed time with family, and now I'm back on that drum and grind. Now, I've got enough play-alongs releasing through April currently, and we're going to go through some of them today. So, some of these you don't actually have access to on my website. /drum is where you go to it, but the Chug variations, for example, there's currently 18 of them that'll be coming out over the next couple of months. And then if you scroll down past all this stuff, there's a bunch of new drum charts that are coming out. I'll do some of that tomorrow. Bunch of grid variations, and then there's a ton of technique stuff. I'm really happy with like how much of these are going to be coming out soon. So all of these will be publicly available. You can't see all of them right now, but there's currently 56 of them in here, and there's going to be even more coming out later. I'm going to keep working on releasing a new one every single day. Now, today, I'm just going to have fun just chopping out because it's been, like, what, a week since I've drummed? Because I was hanging out with family for the holidays. But we're going to go ahead and warm up with my favorite shopping spree. Now, every one of these play-alongs, if you go into the description, there are timestamps that allow you to jump to a specific BPM so you can, play along to it. So if you want to go slow, then cool. This one goes as slow as 20 beats a minute, and it'll take you about 3.5 minutes to go through. I am going to go ahead and just start off at like a nice leisurely 90 and full screen. We're doing this to get the blood flowing. Then I'm going to stretch and massage, and then I'm going to play this as fast as I possibly can today, and we'll see how fast it is. Feels weird drumming. My hands feel off. I wonder why. Maybe it's because it's been a while, Jared. I think you're right, Jared. Okay, let's go to 100. Now, if the timestamps end, or the BPMs end with a 0 or a 5, it'll give you this little bit of a moment to get yourself set up, which is great. Otherwise, it'll just immediately tap off. Yeah. All right, let's go by 5s now. Before we stretch and massage, we want to get the blood flowing. It's extremely important to keep your hands nice and healthy. Ask me how I know, as somebody who has had all sorts of weird injuries and whatnot. Tendinitis, early signs of carpal tunnel, popped veins, bursitis. Started taking care of my hands, fixing my technique, and guess what? It got better. Yay! Haven't had an issue in over a decade. Unless I, like, injure myself working out. Ah! Ew! Let's try that again. A little late on the attack. Percussion. All right, let's do 110, and then we'll stretch and massage. How's that sound? That sounds great. Thanks, chats. I hope you're all playing along. If not, I hope you're all enjoying your popcorn. Here for the show. It's interesting how many people follow me for the gaming stuff, but stick around for the drumming stuff. Surprises me. Also, vice versa. And some people don't like that I do a lot of things, but that's fine. Website's got it neatly organized. You don't have to sub. Nice. Let's stretch and massage now. So, favorite stretch I learned from my first drum teacher, Kyle. Thank you, Kyle. You hold your sticks like this. Let me get it so you can see it in both cameras. Okay, so your palms are facing up. This is a weird one, so I'm going to go slow. Yeah, hold them, and you pull in so that your palms are facing, one palm is facing down, and then you push through, and you follow through the other arm, and oh yeah. This is such a good stretch. I don't know anyone else who does this stretch in terms of like who teaches it, but anytime I show it to other drummers, they're always like, oh my goodness. It's delicious. So, again, thank you, Kyle. Now, to get out of the stretch, all you have to do is just go back the way that you came, and then you're good to go. If you do traditional, rotate and hold at one end of the extreme, and then rotate and hold at the other end of the extreme. Do that for like 15, 30 seconds, whatever you need to do. Now what we're going to do is stretch the underside of the forearm. So you could do it one at a time. Oh, that feels great. You could do it here. Don't put all your weight into it. You could do it on the wall. The lower you go, the deeper your stretch. Again, don't put all your weight into it. Let's do this one. And now we're going to stretch the top side of the forearm. So you could do one at a time like this. You could do it on your pad like this. You could do this one on your leg. You could do this on a younger sibling or a dog, a large dog. Or you could do it on the wall. The higher you go, the deeper the stretch. Again, don't put all your weight into it. You don't want to tear stuff. That would be bad. All right, now that we stretch the larger muscle groups and whatnot, which, by the way, you might need to stretch like your upper body or like do some of this stuff or whatever. Maybe even some of these, depending on how you're feeling. Like tomorrow, my shoulders are going to be tight because of the upper body workout that I did this morning. So I might need to do some of that before the stream. But in general, the tension from your neck can lead into your shoulder, which leads into your tricep, bicep, which can lead in your forearms, which leads into your hand, etc. So you want to just keep everything nice and loose from upper body on down. Don't just focus on the lower part of your arms. But anyways, now what we're going to do is stretch the fingers. So I'm going to do thumb to thumb. Just goes twice as fast. You could do one at a time if you got a lot of time to spare. And next fingers. Next set. And middle finger. Maybe it'll give you a little ASMR experience. Let's see if it can pop. Stay tuned, folks. We'll find out. Love the color contrast between these two cameras. I should have gotten two of the same camera, but I got this one before I ever started streaming. Okay. Now that we stretched, now we're going to massage. So what I like to do, see if I can show you a different view if you're on the widescreen view, is we're going to massage on the muscle, since I play match grip, and on the sides of the muscle as well. So we're going around it while the fingers are massaging underneath. You were wondering why the pad is super low. Most people I see have the pad at least waist height, so I was wondering about your reasoning behind the super low pad. Yeah, so it has to do with upper body tension. So some people like to have it here, make it so that your arms are parallel. But I personally prefer to have it lower so my upper body can be more relaxed, so I don't get this tension like this, which is what I see with a lot of like younger players in particular, is they'll eventually get their shoulders up, which is it's funny because if you have like a carrier on, if you're marching a drumline, then it's going to mess some things up in terms of like you're going to be really high up here and then the drum just keeps going and it kind of like just keeps raising. Now, we want to have, again, the shoulders nice and relaxed when you're playing with this, so we want to have that the arms down by the side nice and loose. When I'm playing like concert snare, I even do another thing that's a little weird for some people is I'll have the pad or the drum angled. And the reason for that is so that way my wrists can be nice and relaxed and have a nice straight line. If I have it flat like this, you can't get a full stroke out of it. So you can go from here to here. But if you have it at an angle, then you can go even further down and it gives you more power while you're playing more relaxed with it. So my approach to playing drums is to try and play as relaxed as possible. So same thing with like the technique that I'm using, like this finger's just kind of hanging out right here as opposed to pulling it in like this. I used to play this way, and then I had some instruction from some other people who encouraged me to relax it and turn it into more of a triangle hold rather than first two finger grip. So play like this, and yeah. So everything that I'm trying to do is just trying to play nice and loose because, again, I want to be able to drum 50 years from now. Like, I don't want to get the injuries that I had back when I was playing with tight technique and back when I marched with, like, the snare. Like, this was parallel and, like, this arm was, like, way out here, etc. Like, all that stuff just led to a bunch of unnecessary tension, which, like, messed with my hands and eventually, you know, can impact your playing in terms of slowing you down. So the more relaxed you are, the better. And so a low pad kind of helps with that. It also helps with crossovers on tenors and whatnot. So if I use like tenor sticks as opposed to these Hardeman hammers, it makes it a little bit easier when the drums have more room to be able to move as opposed to like way up here and whatnot. To each their own. There are many ways to play, but it gives me more power, helps me play more relaxed. Hopefully that answered your question. It's kind of rambly, but it's a good question. The approaches that I use are learned from many different people. So if you actually go, whoops, wrong pedal, here, back on my website. So at the top, if you go to Curriculum Vitae, let's see. So if we scroll past all this other junk, where is it? Private instruction. No. Where is it? I think it's at the bottom. Yeah, private instruction. Okay, so very bottom. Okay, so like I've studied with a variety of different people. So like on drum kit, Kyle Barentine, Don Moyo. For rudimental stuff, I got a bunch of lessons from Glenn Crosby, Chris Evans, Vern Johnson, who is the tenor soloist in Blast, lessons from Paul Cook, 2 lessons from Jeff Queen and a lesson from Paul Rennick, and then a bunch of other stuff from different people like on timpani, marimba, vibraphone, etc. So I take like all of what they're saying and try and like learn from it and then learn from people that I watch like DVDs of or like check out like other lines and just try and unpack what they're doing and talk to their instructors afterwards, etc. So I have different approaches and don't necessarily adhere to one ideology or method of playing because I've gotten a variety of different instruction from different people. And because I understand that every technique and approach has an affordance that allows you to do something that another might not, but it also constrains you in other ways. So like if we're talking about mallets, so like Steven's grip is going to give you some different abilities that you can't do with Burton grip or cross grip and vice versa. Those are going to make it easier for you to do some things and harder for other things. So same thing for like if you do traditional, that's flat versus traditional that is tilted versus Ohio State traditional, which is like way up here, etc. So you will hear people give you other recommendations, and that's expected. But my approach is relaxed and power because it's mainly rudimental. Like drum kit stuff, which I'll do tomorrow, is not my forte, which is, you know, why I'm practicing it. But anyways, Great question, by the way. Thank you for asking it. Let's massage. So we're here. And so, again, I want to massage around the muscle and then on the muscle itself and then underneath with the fingers. Ooh, this feels great. It's almost like I haven't played in a week. Oof. I didn't want to annoy family by drumming, so I didn't. Sometimes if like somebody stays over and they're also a percussionist, then I'm able to practice, and it's not an issue. Like my wife is also a percussionist, so that's actually her drum kit back here, the red one. On the other side of the room is mine, but she has no issues if we're watching a movie, me just practicing quietly on a pad or something, which is great. Get more reps in. Okay, now we're going to massage the palm with the thumb, and then the fingers are going to massage the back of the hand. So again, just kind of like a twofer, just like the other one. And switch hands. My left hand is tighter than my right, so we'll see how this goes when I'm chopping out, which we're about to do. Stay tuned in 1 minute. Base to tip massaging at least 2 times, just trying to relax the fingers. And this is how I conclude my stretch and massage routine every time I drum. Highly recommend it. Again, I had all sorts of weird injuries before I started the stretch and massage routine. A hand specialist encouraged this and then learned it from other drummers as well, like that first stretch that I showed you from my drum teacher, first one. But yeah, it's very important to do this routine, which is why I do it every single stream. Even did it on days off, like when I wasn't drumming this last week, just to make sure that I'm staying relaxed. Let's drum. Okay, so that was 110. So let's go to 115, and we're going to find the breaking point. Almost did 105. That's not how you math, Jared. Okay. Timestamps, descriptions, blah, 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 blah. You can go slow, you can go fast. It's noticeably better how my hands feel. Perfect. Let's try that again. Gotta graduate. Added in a little rim shot there on the left hand, which reminds me, I released a video where I like made a joke. I forget what I called it, but it was like the exercise on hard mode, because like I hit my sticks, hit like a random rim shot, and so I was like, yeah, I meant to do that. That's the like extension or whatever. And some people didn't realize I was joking. That was a mistake. I'm aware of that. Thank you. It's called a joke. Double tapped. It's extra dead. Okay, I think 125 will be doable, and then 130 will be, like, get the fire extinguisher out. We just crashed and burned. Stay tuned, folks. We'll find out today's episode of Jared Practices Publicly. Although today I'm not really practicing. Just having fun. Playing. Because it's been a while. Tomorrow we're practice. Got a bunch of charts I'll show you. On the drum kit. Alright, likely the last rep. Cue the Rocky music. This might completely crash. Won't know until we try. My arms are like, hey, that's too fast. And my brain's like, go faster, do it. It's like the evil Kermit the Frog. So let's try it. Give in to the dark side. I'm going to lower the heights a little bit. We'll do it ASMR style. Just kidding. Yikes! That last line, that first measure, the cheese cheddar cheddars into the cheese inverts, almost crashed and burned. We survived, yeah. So let's find another one to crash and burn on. You don't have access to these yet. Again, they're scheduled to release over the next multiple months. A new play along every single day. But there's going to be a bunch of Chug variations. Let's do a fun one. Good morning, I'm okay on TikTok. Let's do paradiddlediddles and paradiddles. This is a good one. Okay, so let's start off at 90? Question mark? Sure. I don't know when this one's going to release. I've got, again, a new one every single day for the next 4-ish months. It's a good one. Let's go up a 10. I don't know how fast we will play it today. Eventually, the heights will turn into tenor heights, where it's like accents and taps fused together. They do a fusion dance into one. Left-hand tap, a little high after the accent on the paradiddle. Something that I can work on Saturday, I think, is a technique stream. Tomorrow's a drum kit one. Working through some charts, some limb independence variations. Whoops! I should do 7-8 paradiddle race as a play along. I could just have like silence where you go as fast as possible. What speed was that? Okay, 120. Here we come. I don't know how fast I'm gonna be able to play this. Hopefully 120. You can also do a variation with paradiddle 4s. Let's do that for fun. It's a good one. My hands are getting tired. This will probably be the complete crash and burn point. Stay tuned, folks. We're going to find out. After a word from today's sponsor. Water. It tastes great. You should drink it. Use code Jared O'Leary in the water.com site. Don't go there. I don't know what it is on that website. It might not be appropriate. Okay, here we go. Crashing and burning. We won't do the paradiddle 4. We'll just do normal paradiddles, or at least attempt it. This will be the breaking point, I guess. Yep. It's extra hard because these are extra heavy Hardeman hammer sticks. They're good. So yeah, a bunch of Chug variations will be coming out. If you want to see what sticks I use, by the way, if you go to gear I use, click on percussion, you can find a bunch of books that I recommend. Like tomorrow, I'll be working out of this one, 50 Ways of Syncopation by Don Moyle on the drum kit. Some rudimental stuff I recommend, but the sticks are here. So the ones that I'm using right now are the Hardeman hammers. The show sticks that I like to use are the regular Hardemans, but I haven't done a show in forever because I aged out in 2007, but couldn't march my last 2 years because of a car accident. So 2005, it's been a while. And these are the pads I'm using. So pad inception, pad on pad on pad. And I got plenty more, but these are the ones I recommend. In case people are curious. Sometimes they ask, what sticks are you using? Well, there you go. Let's see. Do I want to play a grid variation? There's now almost 800 grid variations on here. That's a lot. Yeah, there's 770. So, a bunch of triplet ones. Do I want to do grid or do I want to do a technique one? This one's funny. My wife named it. The Zoom Zooms. Now, I'm going to do some chop stuff. Again, just trying to get the hands going today. Let's do flam drags. Timestamp, 4 BPM. And we're going to start off at a nice, comfortable 140 beats a minute. Tap me off, YouTube. You can do it. By the way, if you get an ad on my videos, I'm not monetized. So YouTube's making money, I'm not. We'll be monetized a couple of months, most likely. Stay tuned. All right, let's go by 10s. I think 180 is probably going to be the breaking point for this, but we won't know till we try. Let's find out. Maybe we can go to 190. Stay tuned. So this is a check. And then it gets into the actual exercise. This variation with flam drags. But there's a few more. Yeah. In fact, there are cheeses, flam 5s, cheddar chuds, cheese cheddar chuds, and chut cheeses. So if you don't like flam drags, if you are averse to them, then check out one of the other ones. Another one that's kind of like this, but has a little bit more difficulty is slow paradiddle. It's a good one. Let's see. So I was watching your hands, and I see that your left, you flick your arm entirely. Your right, you rely on wrist. Oh, so good question. It's simple answer, actually. I marched this for several seasons. And then when I couldn't march anymore because of the car accident, I switched over to match grip. And I'm still trying to get my left hand to match my right hand. So today I'm just doing chop stuff, but a lot of the technique play along, or the live streams rather, that you'll see me do are actually me really focus on refining my left. So if you go here onto the YouTube page under the drumming content, boop, you can find all the prior streams, and you'll find that, like, let's see, some of these, all I'm doing is working on my left hand. Yeah, so left hand tap placement or one-handed axis tap. So this one, I injured my arm from, I think it was from working out at the time, but I just am sitting there and grinding the left hand out, working on a technique on another timestamp so you can see what I worked on here. But I'm trying to get it to match my right hand. So that's a long answer to say my left hand still needs some work because I marched traditional. So I marched snare, and now I'm playing match grip, and so it's not as good as my right hand is. And so you'll find that on these streams I spend a lot of time trying to get the angle to match because my left hand tends to go flatter than my right hand. My left pinky tends to come off a little bit. My wrist motion tends to go like this rather than a fluid motion like this. So if we like slow it down, as this is a way exaggerated version of this. And so these are all errors that I'm like cognizant of and that I work on other streams, like on Saturday when I do a technique stream. But yeah, nothing to do with relaxation. It just has to do with I still have stuff to work on. But don't we all? It's one of the things I love about drumming is always things to improve. And for me, my left hand has a lot to improve. And that's okay. I don't think 180 is going to be the breaking point. I think I might be able to go faster today. Let's find out. By the way, thank you, Richard, for the follow on Facebook. Appreciate it. I like how it like brought up the pause and was like, no, haha, we teased you. 190. Let's try it. This will probably be the breaking point. I don't want to overdo it with my hands, so this will probably be a shorter drum stream. No. Bad hands. Whoo-wee. Tired. Okay, stamina. Gotta work on it, apparently. Again, there's multiple variations of that float drag exercise. And the other one that I was mentioning, slow paradiddle. So this one's kind of fun. There's 9 variations of this one. But let's just go with flam drags because we just did that. Okay, so the reason why it's called slow paradiddle is because of the accent. So it's paradiddle with the accents. So you're doing back-to-back, one-handed, what it's sometimes called. Paradiddle, paradiddle, with the accents. And then on page 2, you're doing it with whatever rudiment you pick. And I just kind of chose flam drag because we just did that. Let's do Hast, mich McFragen. Let's do 140. Okay. I'll try and narrate it. Paradiddle, paradiddle. And then we get into this. The tag off the left. Page 2, here we go. Paradiddle, paradiddle. Now, let's go faster than we should. Chopping out, whoops, too far. 150 beats a minute. I'm so glad I planned in this like few second pause so it could get set up. Would have been hard if it immediately tapped off like the other BPMs. Spent months thinking about what kind of play-alongs I wanted to create before I actually created them. And it paid off, because I think they're helpful. And people seem to agree. All right, 160 beats a minute. So again, if it ends with a 0 or a 5, it gives you that little tap off after a few second pause. Otherwise, like if I go to 161, it's going to immediately start tapping off like this. Paradiddle, paradiddle. Perfect. That was not a mistake. It's intentional. I said it on the internet, so it must be true. Okay. Again, my like dry sense of humor and sarcasm is just lost on a lot of commenters, and that's okay. It kind of makes me smile. I don't want to play chop stuff anymore. I'm gonna scroll past the drum kit stuff. Bunch of charts coming out, by the way. I've got one bouncing on my other computer, like right now, like exporting. But there's a bunch more that are coming out. So charts 26 through 30 will be in here soon, but you don't have access to these yet. Again, I don't want to overwhelm people with having like 30 videos come out on one day, so I just do one a day. What do I want to play? What do I want to play? Okay. Here's a like a floppy flam variation. So you do flams on everything, alternating flams. This one is rough, especially with these heavy sticks. But let's try it. We'll start off at 120. I don't know how this is gonna go. Eventually, the flams are just gonna get all floppy, hence the name. But let's try it. Let's go faster. 130. Late. Good, YouTube. I'm so proud of you. All right, let's do 140 beats a minute. 150 is probably going to be the breaking point. Won't know till we try it. Ooh-wee. Let's give my arms a little break. Too much chop stuff today after a week of not drumming. Okay, you can do it. Just believe in yourself. It doesn't take decades of practice. It just takes belief in your playing. That's a joke. People who think talent is a thing. No! Research says otherwise. Yikes! My left hand's locking up. It happens. So I have a friend who is trying to get better at floppies. And in terms of drumming, he's much better than I. I don't know how to explain it to him aside from you just do it one day. That's what my drum teacher told me about paradiddles. And he was right and also a little bit wrong. So with paradiddles, the way I got better with those is you play, and instead of thinking right, left, 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 right, like your brain is not able to process that. So instead, I think of just the accents as a 4-note grouping. So I go 1, left, right, 1, 2, 3, 4, right, left, right, left, right, left, right, left, right, left. So again, I'm processing a chunk as a rudiment rather than an individual set of sticking, and that makes it so that you can play it a little bit faster, and eventually a whole lot a bit faster if you work on it enough. But let's see. I feel like since you have a better understanding of relaxation, I have a better understanding of like floppies. How would I explain floppies to someone? Oh, thank you. Sometimes I have a decent understanding of stuff, but always more to work on. So floppy flams, break it down and think about what is your hand doing? Just one hand. Okay, so that was the first line. So it's really about getting better with your accents and taps, and specifically the upstrokes, where you're going to do up into, from a tap into an accent. So the way that I actually recommend working on that, I'll come back to you, floppy flams. No, that was my breaking point for sure, so never mind. Ignore that. Underneath the grid variations, there are a bunch of sticking variations for triplet and for 16th notes. What I actually recommend your friend working on is alternating downstrokes and alternating upstroke stickings. So these are a great way to isolate out what your hand is doing and to get nice and relaxed with it. So you're isolating out your hand and specifically working on this. Now, when you're doing the alternating upstrokes in particular, one of the things that is helpful for floppy flams is working on what is called molar technique. So molar technique is where you do a little bit of a whip with the arm. So your arm is going to kind of like start with the elbow. And so like you'll see like a lot of old school cats like play with this really exaggerated like this. Like think of like Civil War style drumming where they'd be playing like this. Okay, or Ohio State University. I don't know if they still play that way, but they used to back in the mid-2000s. So you're going to use a little bit of arm. Now, when it comes to rudimental stuff, we don't need to use this much arm as I was over-exaggerating with this. That's what they used to do back in the day in like rope-style drumming, etc. But a little bit, just to make it so that you can kind of whip it in there. So you're getting that accent with that little whip. And then you slowly minimize that, so that way it's mainly the wrist moving. But you're okay with letting the arm move a little bit. And so that helps you out with, again, because you're just doing this. When you're doing the little floppiness in there. Another way that you can also work on it is start with all the same height and then slowly raise up the flam. So if you're doing like flam accents, I'm now doing a slight emphasis. We'll go a little higher. And eventually raise that up. So one of the things that's going to be coming out under the technique exercises all the way down here are some accent tap variations. And so in here, I have some accent relaxers and some tap relaxers. And these are for 2s, 3s, and 4s. And those exercises will be helpful, the tap ones and the accent ones, because they do exactly what I was just talking about. So it starts off with, I'll give you a little preview. I don't know when this is coming out, sometime in the next couple months, but all 12-inch accents, and then you slowly lower just the taps. So it goes to 11, 9, 6, 3, and then you go back up, and you maintain the accents at the same time. So that's what the accent relaxer is. Now, this one is the opposite of that. So the tap relaxer starts off with 3-inch taps, and you go to 4-inch, so just a slight emphasis, and then 6-inch accents, 9-inch accents, 12-inch accents, and then you go back down all the way to 3-inch taps again. If you do this with flams, just sit there and whatever you're doing, this is a great way to work on that. So this is something that I learned from Jeff Queen, who is a 4-time world champion snare drummer. Dude knows his stuff, soloist and blast, blah, 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 blah. But that's what he recommended that I work on to work on my accents and taps, which would also translate into the floppy flams. But if you go to books I recommend on here, and you go to the rudimental books that I recommend, his book is this one. And so he's got some exercises that talk about that in here. These are affiliate links, so I get roughly 4% back-ish if you buy something using one of these links, which does help me out because, a year of quitting my job to create free content doesn't pay as well as my other job did that actually made money. But gaming stuff. So if you're curious, that's where you can go to get it. Good question, though. Let's see. Is there anything else related to floppy flams that I think might be useful for you and your friend? Also, playing slow. Like, I'm not doing that today, but on Saturday, when I work on technique again, I'm going to slow this stuff down to 20 or to 40 and just really refine the technique. So really refining, playing nice and relaxed. So if I were to play this at 40 or something, I want to stay nice and relaxed when doing this and just like kind of pull back and let the weight of the gravity and the stick and the hand kind of work for me and practice the way that I would fast, but while doing it ridiculously slow. That's how you refine technique. And again, I haven't done that in a couple of weeks, but that's how I normally practice. So if you look at like the timestamps of prior live stream drum sessions, and we go down to, let's see, focusing on left hand wrist motion. Sure, hour and 11 minutes, and while doing this, you'll see that I spent the majority of this session, if we look at timestamps here, using slow, fast, slow to refine the wrist motion on my left hand. Okay, so I started off very slow and gradually sped this up. Slow, fast, slow is kind of an interesting exercise, but that is the majority of this practice session is spent just grinding out something slow and refining stuff. And back then, we had 1,700 hours of free drumming content. Now we got 2,000. Woot! Cool. Long-winded answer, but I hope that helps you, and feel free to stop by on future streams or to ask a question in any of the comments and whatnot on YouTube, and I can respond to them there, or I can respond to them in like a future stream. So one of the things that I'll do is like, hey, that's a great question. I can't type it out because it'd take too long, so check out this morning's stream or whatever, and then I'll answer it there. And again, I'll put the timestamps showing what I talked about and when. But anyways, I'm going to call it here, and I'm going to get myself set up for some Fortnite. So if you go to /game, you can find all the gaming stuff on here, all the highlights. Or if you go to my YouTube and go to the home screen, the home tab, best way to go. You can find all the drumming stuff neatly organized, all the gaming stuff neatly organized. But YouTube won't organize the playlists anymore like they used to, like into these categories. So click and then boom, just drumming or just gaming or whatever. But thank you, everybody, for stopping by, and thank you for all the wonderful questions, and I hope you all have a wonderful rest of the day, and maybe see you around with some Fortnite in a wee bit.